What's going on, Dolphins fans? It's Connor from the Dolphins Dive, and in today's video, we're going to be going over the cap space the Dolphins just freed from post-June 1st cutting Byron Jones. So without further ado, I'm going to hop right into today's video. But before I do, I'm going to do a quick little plug to the merch shop. We just dropped these Jalen Ramsey graphic tees. I think they're really cool. Let me know what you think about it down below. You don't necessarily have to get them, but if you provide feedback, that means so much to me, just so I know what you guys want and would like to purchase if you were interested. But without further ado, the Dolphins just freed up $13.6 million.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Now, that's actually a lot of money for this time of the year. That probably puts the Dolphins as one of the teams with the most cap due to the fact that the main cap spending window is free agency. But now you can kind of pick of the litter of who you want. There's a lot of vets that are very capable that hold out. They don't necessarily even want to play in training camp because they don't really need to. They know how to play. They've proven themselves at a high level. I like to think about Dalvin Cook last season. He held out. He's like, listen, I'll get signed halfway through the year and make a playoff run with the team because I don't need to bang up my body for the first 8 weeks for a team that might end up sucking. So it's definitely a route that players take nowadays. Now, obviously, there's a lot of veterans that are potentially out there, and there's no one person that is more captivated to the Dolphins fan base than Dalvin Cook. Now, obviously, he's still under contract with the Minnesota Vikings, but there's a lot of speculation that they're either going to trade him or cut him. And either way, the Dolphins can technically make a move for him. It's not going to take much to trade for him. It honestly seems like it's inevitable that he is going to get cut, so they might just have to toss something late. Now, it's just whether or not that's the right move to make. In my opinion, I think Dalvin Cook is an absolute stud and helps take this offense to the next level. The Dolphins are in that window where they can afford to make a win-now move in signing a Dalvin Cook. With that said, if that spending those assets on Dalvin Cook prevents you from potentially upgrading the offensive line, I would favor the offensive line. I'm very confident in our running back room. Devon Arcane seems to be fitting in very well. He's shining all through OTAs so far. I have a lot of confidence in Raheem Mostert's ability. So obviously Dalvin Cook has proven himself to be a top back, but as we know in this league, running backs are kind of a dime a dozen. There's a lot of very capable running backs. I feel like it's more scheme oriented and the run blocking that you have in front of you. And I think we have running backs that are extremely good. I don't think we necessarily need Dalvin Cook. Now, would it hurt to have that competition? Absolutely not. So that's why I'm saying if they want Dalvin Cook, if Mike McDaniel thinks that's the best move for the Dolphins, I have faith in that. But if they don't make the move, I'm not tripping because I'm very confident in the guys we have in that room. And if we can spend that money elsewhere to help better the team, then so be it. I'd be happy with that as well. I don't think we need Dalvin Cook at all. Do I think it'll help? Sure, but I don't think it's necessary. So I think that's the big name that the Dolphins fans want. But I'm going to break down some other names that are potentially out there that the Dolphins can go make a move on. So like I said previously mentioned, offensive line is certainly one of those positions. And the market's pretty barren now, as I previously mentioned. Like, we already kind of made moves on the offensive line. Now, were they great? Not at all. But they're still names nonetheless to compete. Like, the Dolphins have, I don't want to say it's deep offensive line, but they have competition now basically at every position with the signings of Isaiah Wynn and the tackle. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. But there's some still other good players that are competitive out there. I know Andrew Norwell just got released. Taylor Lewan's still out there. George Fant, Justin Pugh, Ben Jones, Roger Saffold. Like, there's legit names out there. I feel like the Dolphins wouldn't have made the moves that they did, though, if those guys were in mind. But I hope I'm wrong. I'd like to see the Dolphins go out and get another solid offensive line free agent to compete with this group, whether it be Lewan or Roger Saffold has had great success in the scheme if you think back to his time with the Rams. Now, I don't necessarily see that happening, but I think that would be a great use of the assets. And really the only other place I could see these assets getting spent is on the defensive line. Obviously, Christian Wilkins and Zach Sealer are absolute studs, but you want depth at that position because you want to be able to rotate in and out to help keep the bodies fresh and healthy. So some people that are still out there that I think are intriguing for the Dolphins. I think Shelby Harris is very intriguing. He's had experience with Vic Fangio. Linval Joseph's a big body. Ndamukong Suh, I don't necessarily think would be the move, but a little return. Like I said, I think he's somebody that you would see a little further down the line because like I said, I don't think he's in a rush to play until probably halfway through the season. Robert Quinn's out there. I don't necessarily think we need edge rushers, but for depth purposes, I don't think it would hurt because, like I said, we kind of only have Phillips and Chubb behind them. There's not a lot of great pass rushing options. Obviously, Andrew Van Ginkel's there, but he's being moved to inside linebacker, so that's something that you can weigh. I like Akeem Hicks as well. Once again, connection to Vic Fangio. And there's a lot of old vet guys. You could bring back Trey Flowers, although it's a different scheme than we previously ran. Carlos Dunlap. Justin Houston's still out there. Carl Nassib's a guy that has played pretty well. Isaac Rochelle, if you follow his wife on TikTok. But I think the main spots that the Dolphins should look to use these assets on is going to be the offensive line and the interior defensive line. I think that's where you can really help gain depth and keep rotations going to where you can mess up some teams in terms of the defensive line. Offensive line, I just like to see competition added so that the best man wins at each position, and I think some of the competition we've added so far isn't necessarily great. I like Isaiah Wynn. The other guy's not that great, but I like that we did have competition. It almost signals to me that that's the competition they intended on adding, but if they add another name to that mix, whether it be Lawan or someone else, I'd be very pleased with that. So I'd like to see, like I said, my top priority, in my opinion, would be O-line, D-line, Dalvin. And it's not a knock on Dalvin. It's more so I'm very confident in our current room. Dalvin Cook would be a great addition. Obviously a South Florida guy, so it'd be cool to see. And he's obviously one of the best running backs in all football, so it would not hurt. I just don't think it's necessary. But that's my take on it. Comment down below your thoughts. Like I said, I appreciate anyone for watching. It means so much to me. Comment down below any video ideas or any questions you may have for me. Check out the Dolphins Eye for the best Dolphins merch out there. And until next time, I'll catch ya.